All right, so first thing we should probably do is just kind of introduce ourselves. So
First, Moira.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Christian.
Okay, so in this final section, you and your partners will consider the class as a whole, given the information you have provided. Um, you have to ask and read and learn about UDL. The three basic principles focus on multiple means of A, representation, expression, and engagement discussed with your partners.
So the first one is expression. I know I'm looking back at my UDL worksheet, the assignment, and I know that an example I used is um, teachers avoiding putting students with speech problems into high pressure situations. So like maybe they're instead of asking that student to share their answer out loud, they can have them write it down, or the teacher would go to the student individually and ask them for a response.
I think this one we're just talking about, right? We don't have to write for number one.
Um, I assumed we had to write for it, but I guess it doesn't have
Yeah,
like
it
a
says right.
maximum.
We write 150 words advocating for the use of UDL, and then another 150 advocating against the use of UDL. So I guess we're just discussing what each part of UDL means, and then we're gonna write the paragraphs.
Okay. So, represent. Christian, can you what you said for representation?
Yeah, so it was just kind of like well, I was actually reading expression, so I apologize. But representation, I know it's pretty much about the way students learn. So not everyone's going to be an auditory learner. That's not their strongest. So instead of like just having a lecture from a teacher, they can incorporate like group discussions or hands-on parts of the class and stuff like that. That's what would be representation. Like students with different learning styles being represented through the uh, lesson plan.
Alright, and then.
Expression, I'm thinking like different ways of assessments. Like they can make a portfolio or they can do some sort of project based assignment. They can like have presentations.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So they can do a portfolio assignment any way that they can express their. How would I finish that?
Yeah, I would just kind of talk about different ways of assessments. Possibly give the student options for that. And they can do either or.
Oh, I do remember. For expression still, right?
Yeah, for expression still.
Pull up my computer.
And then for engagement, my understanding was about how students are like delving into the work. So, for example, some students might feel more comfortable with group work as opposed to some just maybe working by themselves.
That's what I was thinking too. Was like kind of group work and stuff.
Or like maybe sometimes partner work too might work better for one student. That way they're still engaged with other people, but they don't feel the pressure of being in a larger group.
Yeah. Like kind of for the purposes of UDL, you're kind of forming groups from the general ed population and the special ed population.
Yeah, so that way there's also a good diversity there in students.
Yeah.
Was it week 3 or week 2? Yeah.
What was the question?
UDL was week 2.
Oh. Okay. Now. Um,
So I guess now we would decide on how we would write the paragraph for advocating for UDL in the classroom.
okay, so we can here we go. So write a brief, persuasive paragraph advocating for the adoption and use of principles.
So I'm thinking it kind of gives maybe the students a chance to collaborate with all kinds of students. Especially if it's kind of group-based work.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you kind of cut out there. I didn't hear what you said.
It's fine. You said especially.
She was asking like what you were saying, Jeff, about especially what when you were still continuing.
Oh, especially for like group work, with collaboration.
I also think like this UDL provides space for students to have their needs met as best as possible. So not just one group of students is feeling included in the instruction, rather students with all kinds of learning differences feel um, engaged in the curriculum,
Sweet.
if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
And then if you guys need me to repeat anything, let me know. I know that was a lot.
Yeah, repeat. So I have with UDL, it is able to reach to all types of students, no matter learning types. And then what else?
It would allow for inclusiveness of students with all different learning styles.
Okay. What the heck? So
Do you guys
Like
think
a
we should
negative.
include an example from the case study? Like maybe it's something like perhaps like I don't know, just random names like Gina and Ray. Um, they like normally these two students with different learning styles would not cooperate in classwork, but thanks to UDL, they can come together with their different learning styles and discover new approaches to problem solving or something like that.
Sweet. I also kind of want to mention something about how some of the kids that are understanding the material better than others, it gives them a chance to almost teach it themselves when they're doing like group work. Like, because like when you're explaining something, you actually like learn it better. When you actually have to help
it
people
helps
with it.
you learn it more.
Yeah.
Okay. I would put for. Okay. Write a brief, persuasive paragraph advocating against the adoption and use of principles. Is there anything bad about it?
I mean, I would say maybe you go over less stuff because because you have special needs students in there. Maybe you have to like go slower than you would if there wasn't. I mean, something like that. Something. You have to change your curriculum or lesson plan, yeah, to where it would.
Okay. That's the only downside with it.
I would say in like conjunction with Mr. Ray or any teacher, trying to apply UDL as best as possible could also consume a lot of their personal time. because they would spend extended hours adjusting their lesson plan to incorporate UDL for all students. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then possibly the social problems with it. Like maybe there's more bullying. Like I know with Steven, he was being bullied a lot. Which I don't know if that would happen as much if he was kind of in his, if they had like special ed class for him.
What about Steven?
Like he was getting bullied a lot by his peers. So
And then having them mixed together should create a bigger problem with that.
yeah. I mean, I feel like that seems like kind of a silly reason, but just kind of something someone might come up with.
And then discuss each of these principles in connection with each of the following. Identify ways you could structure multiple means.
So
I'm trying to load up the PowerPoint. Marissa, I remember us talking about this when we were discussing the classroom management assignment.
No, we were
Remember the
having.
PowerPoint? Yeah.
Yes. I
So
forget.
I'm trying to pull up the PowerPoint for that because I know that gave some good details in the notes section for the behavior models or the models of teaching, I should say.
Okay.
Which one's the first one in here? Behavior
yeah,
family of model.
behavioral family and models of teaching.
Okay. So it's kind of, so this one's basically about positive reinforcement and I guess like negative reinforcement. So it's like basically saying if a student is constantly provided with positive framing and like given praise and also like incentives, or I guess doing their work accurately and responding accurately, that provide that encourages them to participate more. Does that make sense?
And that would go in the first box.
Yeah, so we would have to think of two examples from that to incorporate two examples from multiple means of representation from UDL into that type of model. So like how can we include multiple means of representation with like positive and negative reinforcement?
So it emphasizes both positive and negative reinforcement. Like
Yeah, so it's saying that, like I said, students with praise and like incentive and positive framing, they're more likely to become engaged more in the curriculum. Meanwhile, students who are put down or punished for getting like answers wrong or not participating are more likely to stay that way,
okay.
to not want to participate and engage in stuff.
So there's two ways you could have multiple means of representation within this method. Um, Yeah, it's kind of hard to like kind of come up with these. Um,
I feel like it could be simple things too. Like I know, like I'm thinking about representation in terms of Steven, because you know how it says he's been bullied a lot,
yeah,
and I'm also remembering how he's technically, I guess, the smartest kid in the class. So like if Mr. Jones incorporates like I guess snaps, you know, or like or like a small applause whenever Steven answered the question, that could like make him feel included by his classmates and also give an example to everybody about like positive reinforcement and like being encouraging to one another,
yeah.
if that makes sense. So do you guys think that could be an example?
Um,
Yeah, repeat it again. I read it.
uh,
Yeah. So like snaps or I guess
Right?
like golf. I'm sorry. Yeah, for yeah, right there. You're in the right box, Marissa.
Okay.
So just like snaps or golf claps whenever a student um, is engaged and participates in class as a form of inclusiveness and positive reinforcement.
are the first or the last two boxes the same thing? Too easy a multiple means of expression.
Yeah, I think that was
So,
probably a typo on his end.
yeah, he probably meant
Okay.
to put engagement for the last one. Um, so, so do we have to come up with another way for the multiple means of representation?
Yeah, so like I guess kind of like how do you guys think a student can like all students can feel included in positive reinforcement? So like what's another positive reinforcement I guess that would make all students feel included?
I'm thinking like they can kind of get points for participation, and maybe like after a certain number of points, they get like a little reward, maybe like computer time or something like that.
Ooh, that's a good one. I think that's good. What do you think, Marissa?
Yeah, I'm writing it right now. Alright, and then we're ignoring the last two boxes, or just the extra expression.
Oh, well, I think we are just gonna pretend that that was engagement, because he has
Engagement,
here
the
like,
last one.
yeah, just I think he just meant to put
Okay.
engagement. So for expression,
Expression.
kind of read what we have for expression. Okay, so positive reinforcement with kind of assessments. Um, I mean, I'm just kind of thinking like positive feedback, I guess. When they're like doing presentations or something like that. I don't know if that's.
Yeah, I think it could be like positive framing. So like instead of like even in criticism, like instead of saying like, oh that you were wrong or that part of your presentation sucked. Because I know kids can be blunt. I think like just saying like maybe this is how you can do this better. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of trying to use different wording than just tell them they did this wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then maybe for the second one, um, see, positive feedback. So I'm thinking, you know how like when you're grading assignments, you don't want to like use a red pen. You don't want to like say too much what they did wrong when you're like grading tests and stuff. I'm kind of thinking something along those lines. Just
So like, kind of like how the other one was, where playing with wording, or
yeah,
you could say that something
or
was
just
done wrong, but then put what also they did right.
like emphasizing what they did right. Like make that a much bigger part of your grading of their assignment. And you know, when you're telling them what they did wrong, kind of make it short because you don't want to discourage them. You guys kind of agree with that, or is that kind of
Yeah,
sound okay?
writing it.
Yeah,
Yep. Sounds good.
sweet.
Okay, for
Um,
no. Uh,
so, kind of positive ways that they can engage with other students. Um,
like ways to make them engaging with students better.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what.
Like that. Is that
Like
um,
encourage collaboration. Kind of like how you know, our teacher kind of did with us. You know, really emphasize, you know, two heads are better than one type of thing.
mm-hmm. Could that be one of them? Could you push this button?
I think so.
You said you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also thinking too of like something simple, like uh, just students allowing each person in the group to contribute in conversation and say something and be respectful to what each person says.
Yeah.
Because I think it's especially important for kids. And since this study has been on middle school students, it's like a huge deal that they show respect to each other. Because I feel that way too, because I work at a middle school as a TA. Like whenever any teacher sees students being respectful to each other in group work, like that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Perfect. Do you know what we're supposed to do with the next box down here? Or
I
it
have
just
a
says
feeling that
effective?
it's supposed to be different columns again. Like somehow maybe it got like all these are
Oh,
supposed to have
yeah,
seven
it's still
columns.
part of the first one. Are you talking about effective instruction?
Yeah.
That's still part of the what we just did. If you look at the PDF, it cuts off in one page and continues on the next.
But what
So
does
our
it
next
mean?
one would what?
It says effective instruction hunter.
So it's supposed to
Oh no, that
like there's supposed to be lines here.
Hmm.
Like the lines got cut off, but like right here the column should have kept going. So there should be three columns for
yeah.
yeah, right there like that.
Well,
Okay.
I think that was actually part of part one. If you look at the PDF, it says elements of, and then it cuts off, and then effective instruction. So I think those two are one. Yeah,
Okay. So then skip that and then go to information processing family of models of
yeah,
teaching.
Okay, I got you now with the effective construction. So that's part of the behavioral that's part of behavioral family models, the effective instruction
yeah.
part. Okay.
So our next one would be information processing.
So does anyone kind of know what that is?
Huh.
Should I just keep recording? I've been recording. I've got about 32 minutes right now.
Yeah, you can stop it
Yeah.
and tell me when it stopped.